because I think I forgot to hit broadcast.
Good stuff. Somebody need a cup of coffee. Somebody needs a coffee.
There was an extra step in there.
That's okay.
So funny. Okay, well then while you guys are writing, I'm going to catch everybody up to date here that I've just videoed. I just spent the last, 10 minutes explaining to everybody what's going on here and realized I didn't hit broadcast. So this is my very first workshop. It's a professional development, personal growth workshop by AVONFun. And what I'm doing is conducting a series of questions and exercises with my amazing reps to invoke thoughts that will provide inspiration for them and take them to different levels of their company and their business. So the very first thing that we're talking about right now is your want. Because like I'd mentioned before to these fabulous women, is that a lot of people say to you at any seminar that you go to is connect with your why, and your why should be so profound that it's going to give you goosebumps or it's going to make you cry. But this is actually something that I personally struggled with, because your why is such a massive reason why you do it. And I was finding a lot of my why was very generic, and I couldn't dig deep enough, and it took me a very long time. So I'm kind of doing it a little bit backwards and seeing if this works out a little bit better for everyone to get them there quicker. And it's, you know, starting with what do you want? Because unless you actually physically know what you want to achieve, you're not going to know why you're trying to achieve it. Okay. So does everyone have a few what do you want type things? Mm-hmm. Okay, does anyone feel comfortable enough with sharing one with me?
Sure. I'm good.
Okay, go
Extra
Paula.
cash to start with.
Okay, so this is where we're going to dig a little bit deeper. So this is great, and this is where you really want to start with something, right? So extra cash. Now, is it okay if I dig a little bit deeper with you?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Awesome. So if you had extra cash, let's be a little bit more specific.
For paying extra bills.
Okay, so write that down.
For helping with bills, say.
Okay, so let's get even more specific. So what bills do you want to pay?
Monthly bills, like, you know, mortgage, car. Okay, say for paying car mortgage, say.
Okay, so write that down.
Say car. It's one thing coming out of paycheck.
Yeah.
One less thing coming out of paycheck, if I could use from this money.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so pick one, car or mortgage. We'll work on one.
So
do you want to pay for your car, or do you want to pay for your mortgage?
Oh, no. Yeah, car payment, say. Okay.
Car payment.
Car payments, whatever.
Okay. So write down, and you don't have to share it, but write down what your car payment is per month.
Okay. 600.
Okay. So how much of that do you want to pay off each month? Do you want to pay off the full amount?
Well, that's a bit dreaming, because
that's okay. We are dreaming, right? This is what we're doing.
Sure.
Okay. So now you have something more specific. So if you were to pay off your car and cover your car payments, what would that free up for you? Like, that would give you money for something extra, right? Because you're already paying that $600. So what would you do with that $600 now? Oh, you bug out.
I don't know. I could say I could put it into the condo bill, say, or to pay extra interest or whatever, you know, to reduce the mortgage.
Okay, so why?
So one thing goes into another.
Yeah, so keep going. So why would you want to pay off your mortgage? What's that going to free you up? What's that going to do for you if you were mortgage free? For what?
For having fun, for going for holidays.
Okay, where would you like to go on your holidays?
To Portugal.
To Portugal. Why would you want to go to Portugal?
Because my family's there.
There we go. Do you see how this works?
All right.
Do you see?
It's a chain.
So, but now listen, what sounds better? What connects with you more now, okay? I want to be doing Avon to get extra cash.
Okay.
I want to be doing Avon so that I can go to Portugal to visit my family.
Yeah, that sounds so good.
Do you see how that works?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking, is to, you know, dig a little deeper, and this takes time, and you know, sometimes it gets emotional, but did going to Portugal to see your family, did that give you goosebumps? Right?
For sure.
Right? And that's why, that's what's going to get you up and get you to hand out your books and connect with your customers and make those phone calls. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of stuff within our business that we do that is repetitive stuff, that is a drag. That's, you know, with any kind of job. So what is going to motivate you to keep going? And it's that trip to Portugal to see my family. Is a lot better than making extra cash. Make sense?
I see.
Cool. So that's what you need to do with every one of your points that you have, okay, is that I ask you to dig deep. And if you want me to do it with you, I will absolutely do that with you. We can do a private conversation because, again, this is not an easy thing to do on your own. And it's something that sometimes you don't even realize is there until someone's at you going, why, why? It's like the 5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with, you know, sorry, I was going to go off on a tangent. I'm going to come back to myself because I have squirrel moments, let's be honest. Okay, so on the first page at the bottom, once you figure out your whys and you've dug deeper to figure out where you're going with that, I would love for you to put a picture there. Okay, and whether it's one thing or 10 things, and if you put it here or you create your own vision board, you need to have something visual. Visual is a lot more powerful than in your head. And the whole purpose with this kind of stuff is to get it out of your head and on paper. Cool? Turn the page. Okay, this was a question that I've actually really been looking at lately that I've been doing with my own personal coach. And she said this to me not that long ago, and this was one of those aha moments that I had, okay? And be completely honest with yourself, because this is a mindset shift. When you think of yourself within Avon, are you an employee or are you a business owner? Okay? What first comes to mind? How many of you feel like you're an employee? And how many of you feel like you're a business owner? What about you, babe? Aisha, how do you feel? Business owner or employee?
Business owner.
Good. Steph?
Honest answer, bit of both.
Okay. So let's play with this for a second, okay? Because Avon is an amazing company. It has been around for 127 years now in the States and 102, I think, now in Canada, or 101. It's a brand of its own, and it's doing just fine on its own, okay? We are not working for Avon. Avon is a company, it's a business in a box, okay? Because we don't have our own product that we would like to sell, but we have entrepreneurial minds that we want to work for ourselves and make money for ourselves as opposed to working and making money for somebody else. Yes? This is one of our whys. So what you need to remember, though, is you don't work for Avon. It is a brand that you represent, and it is a brand that you borrow, but you don't work for them, okay? And you really need to embrace that, and it's not an easy task. So if you still feel like you're an employee, again, nothing is bad or wrong, okay? But it's a mindset shift, and if you want to work on that offline, I am more than happy to do that with you guys, okay? But this is really what ends up blocking yourself from really taking your business to the next level, because when you make decisions regarding Avon, you're either making a decision as an employee or as a business owner, because those decisions are very, very different. Do you guys see that? That makes sense, right? Because as a business owner, I need to pick up the phone and make the connection with my customers and with my reps, okay? As an employee, I don't really feel like it, so I'm not gonna do it. Kind of idea, right? As an employee, I need to get the books out because I was told that I have to get the books out. As a business owner, if I don't get those books out, that person's not going to order from me, and I'm not going to make my company money. Do you see where the shift is? So this is something to play with, okay? And this is where you guys have seen me draw this sales chart before, but I'm going to draw it again because I think it's really important. So Steph, you can't see me, but I'll send it to you, okay? Or can you see me now?
I can see you.
You can see me. Okay, great.
I can see you.
Okay, so this is the idea of the sales chart, and this is a very basic chart, and it is so simple, but it is so important. And there's a space on the workbooks for you guys to write this down, okay? So you're gonna start with your customer base. Okay, and this is the most important thing that you're ever going to create, okay, because this is your business. This is something that is tangible. This is something that should you pass away, you can pass it down to your company, okay? This is worth money. So this is something that you really want to build, because as you build this, what's going to happen is your sales are going to increase. Okay, because without a customer base, you're not going to have sales. And that's the reality. Okay, and as your sales increase and you continue to grow, you're going to either go in two directions, and you're going to either do the Avon Circle, which we can explain at a later date, because this is recruiting. No, sorry, this is networking. And this is referrals. And yes, I can't spell. And over here, or you can branch out into leadership. And this is training and recruiting. And that is the big secret, okay? That is it. That is such a simple business model, but one that you have to embrace and work at, okay? So first and foremost, though, this is the most important thing to look at. Okay, once that happens, your sales increase, because then what happens is within your customer base, these guys are ordering and these guys don't, but then these guys order and then these guys don't, and you have your customers recycling amongst each other. And this is why it's important, because you can't have just 5 customers because they're not going to order every time. Does that make sense? Okay, then with your sales increasing, and there's different ways that you can do this, which we'll go over, okay? Because again, through this, but then from here, this also will increase and make you money, and this will increase and make you money. And this is how you grow. And that's it. That's the big secret. Okay. So let's look at customer base for a second. Now I have here on the sheet, okay, I've got like 15, but I know some of you have been with me for a little bit longer than that. Some of you have been with me for less. So just off the top of your head, write down as many people who you can remember and think of that you're giving a book to, because everybody should have a physical customer base, okay? Whether it be in Excel or in a notebook or whatever, you need to have a list, because this is your company. And offline, we're going to talk about different ways as well that we can increase your customer base too. We're just going through the workshop for now. Because what you want to do too is you always want to be growing. So when you have 10 to 15 people who you're giving books to, you always want to order 10 additional more books. So say you've got 20 people who you're giving books to, then you order 30, because you always want to be growing. You always want to give yourself that incentive to get out there and gain more customers, okay? So now that we have a general list of our customers, okay, because also too, unless you know how many customers you have, you don't know how many books to order. And you're always going to be looking what makes business sense, okay? Does it make business sense to order 10 books when it's going to cost you $10.65? It doesn't make business sense, okay? Because you're not going to gain enough of a profit to get with 10 books. But with 20 books, you're going to start looking at, okay, so this is definitely something doable. These are people who can recycle amongst themselves, I call it, okay? So if you have 20 people, then you should be ordering 30 books, and it goes from there, okay? And we're going to get into this a little bit more. So now that you have your list, and I really would encourage all of you to put this list in Excel. And if you don't know how to use Excel, or if you don't know how to do any of the things that I talk about and you want to talk about it offline, please feel free to connect, okay? But here's the next part. So at the bottom, if we could just look at this for a second and answer honestly, okay? Because this is, again, is another mindset thing, and this is a personal growth and a professional development. So let me ask you, when you go and you see a really great movie, do you recommend it to your friends and family? You're excited to tell your friends and family about the movie. You go on Facebook, hey, I just saw The Martian and it was amazing. Matt Damon's got a cute butt, right? Like, this is what we do. So answer yourself. So let's say, do you recommend a movie that you've seen to friends and family? You do. When you go to a great restaurant, do we recommend these to friends and family? We do, right? So why then are we hesitant to recommend Avon to friends and family? Okay, now honestly, because there's different sides of the spectrum as well, because I personally was hesitant, but I know some other people are rock stars and can share like the best of them as well. So just let me get a kind of a feel for who is okay, like, and think of at the beginning as well, not where you are today, but at the beginning, was anybody hesitant to share Avon with your friends and family? Show of hands. Let me just see who. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
At the beginning, I wouldn't dare. I was not.
Which is so interesting, right? Because if you know that Avon's fantastic, you use those products, you're excited to get the books. So why is it that we feel this way? Okay. And this is a mind shift as well. And this goes back to, are you an employee or are you a business owner? So there's kind of two different ways to this. Okay. Number one, and again, nothing is bad or wrong, because I've also, remember, I've all been there, done that too. Okay. So I totally understand that. But the embarrassment and the dorky feeling that you have approaching somebody, right, is that because you don't know what to say or because you don't believe in the product? And 9 times out of 10, it's because you don't know what to say, right? You don't know how to approach somebody. You don't know what to do or say. So flip the page. So now let's write down 5 friends or family who you've been holding back from, okay? So let's pick, because everybody knows everybody in their life, the short list of people who we've been hesitating to connect with. So if you guys could just kind of jot down if you're thinking of anyone. Because the truth is that there's a right way and a wrong way to approach people. And I use wrong very loosely because I don't really like the word wrong, because I actually enjoy failure, because when you fail, you learn. So I love that term. But what you don't want to do, okay, is, when you contact or connect with a friend or a family member and say, hey, let's go for coffee and catch up, and then show up at a coffee shop and basically throw up on them about your business opportunity, right? Because then that's a sneaky way of doing it. And nobody likes that. They're like, hey, man, I thought you wanted to catch up, and now you're throwing all this business opportunity at me, and that's not cool. So how do you approach it? And it's, you just be completely honest. And that's, the biggest thing, right? I like to use a lot of open-ended questions. So, okay, let's talk about friends and family first. So I would even just say, hey guys, I just started a business with Avon. I've got Avon catalogs. I've got Avon books. Who wants to see them? And it's just like, everybody overthinks it. And it's really just that simple. Hey, I got books, who wants them? Right? Or, hey, I've got the e-brochure, who wants them? Because some people will say no, but some people will say yes. And the thing is, you've got to get past, embarrassment isn't going to pay the bills. Embarrassment is not going to get you to Portugal, right? So you also have to decide, how hungry are you? And that, again, goes back to your wants and whys. So it does all connect. Okay, does that make sense for everybody so far? So that's one way to do it. Now, another way that I have found really open-ended questions that have been working for myself as well. And again, things that are working for me are working for me. They don't necessarily are going to work for you, or they may work for you. But I have no ego attached to any of this. And if it inspires you guys to do something else, you got to find your own way. Okay. But if you want to talk to me about it offline, that's totally cool too. But recently what I've been doing is just being honest. So like I walked up to a woman in a grocery store the other day and said, hey, I know this is really crazy random, but would you like an Avon book? And she was like, yeah, totally awesome. Right? So, and it's just a case of once you start and you make that first, hey, would you like a book? And then it's, have you heard of Avon before? Because of course they've heard of Avon before. Everybody's heard of Avon, right? And that's a really great opener. Have you heard of Avon before? Oh, my aunt used to sell it.
My sister used to sell it back in Portugal 30 years ago.
See? Or it's a, you know, we used to have a rep at the office and now she doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah, I lost my Avon lady. I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've lost my Avon, but thank God I found somebody else. I've heard that.
So then the next question is, after you start the conversation of, have you heard of Avon before? The next one that I have found is working really well is, what do you do for a living? Because what you're doing here is you're having a sincere conversation with somebody. And what you're doing is you're trying to see whether or not they would make a good fit. Because the truth of the matter is it may or may not be for this person, but you don't know that yet. So when you say, what do you do for a living? And they say, I'm a stay-at-home mom, you go, awesome. Have you ever thought about having a stay-at-home business? Right? Or it's a, same with customers. These principles and these concepts go for everything. So, you know, you could also, you know, if someone says, oh, I work in an office. Awesome. Do you work with women? Oh, I mainly work for men. Awesome. You know, we've got a lot of skincare now for men, as well as, you know, especially fun at Christmas, the soap on ropes, things like that. Okay. Even if they say no, you know, it's okay to say to them, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being honest with me. I really appreciate that. Right? Hey, would it be cool though if you still took it into work for me and just left it in your lunchroom? Right? Just because they're saying no doesn't mean they don't have someone who would enjoy it. Okay? And then once you know your customer base, then you know how many books to truly get. Okay? And if your number, because you could surprise yourself at the number as well. Right? It could be a case of, you know, I thought I only needed 10, but holy crap, I know 20 people. Right? But unless you go through this process, you're not going to know. Cool? Everybody still making sense? Okay. So now here's the even bigger question though. Okay? This is something that I've asked some of you to do as well, but the clearer you are and the more specific with your goals, okay, it gives you a jumping off point to know what you're working towards. So what is your goal, right? If you say your goal is I want extra cash, I want financial freedom, what does that mean for you? So dig down a little bit deeper, okay? Be very specific. What does that mean per month for you? I want to be bringing in $500 a month. I want to be bringing in $3,000 a month. You have to know what your goal is so that we can work a plan to figure out how to get you there. Does that make sense? So be very specific. If you're putting down, you know, I want to stay with my kids, at home with my kids, be more specific. I want to stay at home with my kids so that when they have the basketball game at school, I can attend, right? Be very specific of things like that. You know, I want financial freedom, which means for me that I need to bring in $1,000 a month. Okay? Because then we have something to work with. Unless we have something to work with, we can't work, right? How do you know what you're running towards if there's no finish line, per se, okay? So now we're gonna dig a little bit more deeper, and we need to make a list of what are you actually willing to do, okay? And what I mean by this is, you know, I've given you guys tips on the phone call method that I personally use. We've talked about book drops. We've talked about posting up posters, things like that. I can teach you 1,000 different methods, okay? But you have to do the work and you have to be committed to yourself in order to do this. So what you need to know, and what is great for me to know as well, is what are you actually willing to do? Because I can tell you all about my phone method is like until I'm blue in the face, but unless you're actually willing to pick up the phone, that's useless information I'm giving you. Make sense? Things like, I think we've talked about going to putting ballot boxes in a convenience store or putting books in a convenience store, which is great in theory, but unless you're willing to do it, it's not going to bring you success, right? So one thing I would encourage you guys to do is on Amazon.com.ca. Did we find it on CA?
No, it's on .com.
.com. Amazon.com. There is an author. Her name is Kim Thompson Pinder. THOMPSON-Pinder. PINDER. Okay. She has a book out about multi-level marketing. And the book that I specifically encourage you guys to get, it's $3.49 on Kindle. And it is 50 low-cost ways to recruit local customers and reps. And it's basically a really simple book of 50 ideas on what to do, on how to get reps. And you can go through those 50 ideas and highlight and pick out the ones that resonate with you. What are you willing to do? Okay? Because there are so many different methods. One method that I have done in the past, and they call it, which is funny because Avon did this recently in a webinar, they call it spray and pray. Okay? And it's like when you're walking through the bay and they spray you with perfume and you walk away and you're like, oh my gosh, what was that? And they're hoping that you come back and buy the perfume. Okay? So a way to spray and pray is things like when you're posting posters or dropping books at the bank machine or bus stops or things like that. That's a spray and pray method. And that's a great method if that's comfortable for you. Because again, what I did a year ago is very different than what I'm comfortable with doing now. And if that's a way to get you, to start you onto something, is great. Just start something, right? The spray and pray method will take you longer for growth, but it will give you growth. You just have to decide, what are you willing to do? And that goes back to your goal again, right? If you want $3,000 a month, the spray and pray method is not going to work for you. But if you want $200 to $500 a month, the spray and pray method may very well work for you. Okay, so again, I really encourage you guys to go online, get this book. It was $3.49 the last time I looked at it. I downloaded the Kindle app on my phone and downloaded it that way. And it's like a 20-minute read filled with 50 ideas. And then if you guys could share with me what resonates with you, we can put a plan together. Okay? Because there is more direct selling millionaires out there than there are with startups. It is a system that works if you work it. Okay, what's the saying? You can, I always screw up saying, so bear with me. The saying is, you can work, no, if you're willing to work hard, I can't remember right now. Something about working, you can work easy with ease, whatever. I'll look it up and I'll tweet it out. But that's the idea. Okay, one of the biggest things though that need to be on this list, and this again is a learnable skill, it is something that is a drag but is essential in our business, is follow-up. Okay, without follow-up, it's not going to happen for you. So you really need to get comfortable with that word, and you need to be, and whether that follow-up means emails at first and then phone calls, because the phone calls will get you the most immediate action. Okay, it's like working a muscle. The more you do it, the easier it gets. I used to make phone calls and break out in a cold sweat and pray to God that you wouldn't pick up the phone. And then it got to a point where that was such a waste of my time if you didn't pick up the phone that it was getting frustrating. Everything's a process. Everything is a learnable skill, no matter where you are in your business, okay? But follow-up is essential. It has to be done if you want to work it. Okay, turn the page. So once you guys look at the different ideas and nail down what are you willing to do to grow your business, okay, this is when we can get into really creative marketing ideas. And again, this goes back to the, are you an employee or are you a business owner? Because as a business owner, your marketing abilities, the sky is the limit. You can do so many different things with marketing, okay? So again, you know, just come up with 5 ideas that you're willing to try, because a lot of this business is a rinse and repeat, because what's working today may not work tomorrow, and what's working tomorrow may not work today. Okay, so if you are trying something, especially marketing idea, you have to try it at least 3 to 5 times. So if you decide that one way for you to try to collect emails is to do a draw for free product, don't just do it for 1 campaign. You have to do it for 3 to 5 campaigns to make it work. Okay, that's important. Now, the next section of this, we're talking about the brain dump and time management versus managing activities. Is everybody okay so far? Does anyone have questions? Am I going too fast or anything? Everybody's good? It's making sense? Okay. Again, because these questions are designed to invoke thoughts from you guys, and because these are going to come, and as they start to come, they're going to be fast and furious in your head. And this is where we overwhelm ourselves, and we have all these ideas in our head, and we're implementing none of it because we get so overwhelmed, we don't know where to begin. You know, like when your house is a mess and you're like, which room do I start? And, you know, you're like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm going to watch TV then because it's too overwhelming. We've all been there. So I encourage you guys to do what I call a brain dump, okay? Because all these ideas are going to come and you're just going to write them down, because once you have them on paper, then you can organize them. And when they're on paper, they could be things like, that's a really fantastic idea for today, or it's a really fantastic idea for 6 months from now. Because one of the things you're going to do as well as a business owner and not an employee, okay, is you're going to say to yourself when you decide to do anything, is this going to make me money? Okay? Because you should always be doing the top 5 things that are going to make you money over anything else. Okay? So if you have a choice of making 10 phone calls to people you've done a book drop to, or doing a marketing flyer, right? You're going to make those 5 phone calls before you do the marketing flyer, because those 5 phone calls will make you money. That flyer will down the road, but not today. Does that make sense? So that's one thing you always want to ask yourself. What are the top 5 things that I need to do today that will make me money? And then after you've completed those 5 things, that's when you do everything else. Okay? So the other thing that I want to talk about too, which goes with the brain dump and the overwhelming, is time management. Because I love this word, because time management is so overdone and there are so many courses on it. Okay, you always see all those webinars about time management. And the fact is that we actually cannot manage time. Okay, there is no such thing as time management, because time is going to happen whether we do something or not. We cannot control time. 6 o'clock is going to come whether we're ready for it or not. This is not something we can do. Okay, so what we can do though is manage the activities that we do within that time. Okay, so then again, this goes back to what are the top 5 things that are going to make me money today, and then everything else goes away. Okay, and you don't touch any of that other stuff if it's not making you money. Cool? Okay, last piece for this particular workshop is just some side notes to think about, okay? So, you know, to get used to talking to people, if you're not comfortable with approaching them or talking to them or whatever, start with just smiling at them. It's actually an experiment. If you walk down the street and you smile at people, it is close to impossible for you not to smile back. If you smile at someone, they will smile.
Yeah.
Okay? Start there, right? Then get into the, you know, pay them a compliment. Be walking by someone and go, hey, those are really fabulous shoes, and keep walking. Okay? Because the worst thing you're doing is you're spreading joy to someone and you're making somebody's day. They could be having a crap day and you just told them their boots look good and you just boosted their ego. Okay? Then you're going to start with the, hey, would you like a book? Hey, can I get your contact information? Because these are all things that are all part of the process and how comfortable you are in your own skin. And along the way of doing this stuff, you will discover the things that are actually, it's the stuff in your own head that's blocking you from those dreams and that success. Because you can go to Portugal to see your family. It's just you decide how fast you want to get there. Right? Make sense? One thing right off the bat, if you guys don't already have this, get your own bank account for Avon. Keep Keep it separate than your personal one, because what happens is if you put it into your personal account and you're paying bills with it, you physically don't see the money you're making. You just don't, and you think you're not making money.
It's happening to me.
Yeah. It's so easily happens.
I just don't see it.
You don't see the money, and that is it's demotivating.
It just psychs you out. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm spending all this time and I'm not making money.
Yes.
And that's where you play with the words too, because if you made $10, you made money, right? It's your own power on how much money you're going to make. Okay, but get your own account so you can see that.
You can get a bank account without having to pay fees.
Yeah, the ING one, right?
ING, PC. I have a Royal Bank business account that I don't pay money on.
Nice.
So, yeah, up to a certain amount that you put in.
Yeah, because that's important. I encourage everybody to, if you're not on Facebook, get on Facebook. Even if you have to do an alias on Facebook, just get on Facebook, because there's so many networking events, different groups that you can tap into that always provide information, and you can meet really great people. Okay, definitely get yourself a planner, because you have to put yourself on a 2-week rotation, and that's a different workshop. But you need being self-motivated. You have to be, or being self-employed, you have to be self-motivated. And you have to have routine. That's just the reality. So if every Tuesday you go deliver those books, make sure it's those Tuesday you're delivering books. Otherwise, you're like flying through the wind and you're flying by the seat of your pants. Get a planner, okay? And then just the last thing I want to say to you guys is, because I love this saying still, there are so many direct selling companies out there, and there are so many Avon reps out there. And what makes you guys different, okay, is that there are a million fish in the sea, but I am a mermaid. And I always want you guys to think about being that mermaid. What's going to make you different and what's going to make you stand out. Okay? Cool. So that's it for the workshop. Next workshop is in 2 weeks. We will be covering off different topics if you guys want to participate in that. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you.
How do I stop the broadcast now?